Hello, this is Brother Ron. Today's question comes from John W., who writes, Dear Brother Ron, where did the Big Bang come from, and why is it so hard to believe in God? While reading materials on this topic, I noticed some explanations were along the lines of it came from another universe or other theories. Also, people claim that energy has always been there. My question is this: if it came from another universe, why is it so hard to believe that God did it? Or that if energy has always been there, why is it so hard to comprehend that God has also always been there? If you do not believe in God, then you believe that the universe came from the Big Bang or an alternative method. This means that you would have to believe that something has always been there, right? I'm sure time, space, matter, and energy couldn't have just gone poof and come into being by itself. And if there really was another universe, couldn't God have created it? And if energy has always been there, couldn't God have also always been there? So what exactly is the hard part about believing in God? Well, dear John W., once again we see the conflict between religion and science. Actually, there is no conflict. Science tells us how things happen. Religion tells us why things happen. You want a logical explanation for the Big Bang? Try this on for size. Science tells us that the universe is expanding. Supposedly, the energy for this expansion came from the Big Bang some 13 billion years ago. But this energy, like all energy, is not infinite. Eventually, the forces of gravity and friction will use up that energy. At that point, the expansion stops and contraction begins. Eventually, all matter in the universe compresses itself into an unbelievably dense mass. This mass makes a black hole look like Central Park. The gravitational forces of this mass are so strong that not only light, but time itself is trapped within it. At that point, it reaches a critical mass, and we get another Big Bang, and the whole process starts all over again. Now, this is probably going to take about another 20 billion years or so don't cancel your plans for the weekend. Now, this is in complete conformity with the scientific principle of conservation of energy. The energy has always been there, and the mass has always been there. God has always been there too, setting the whole process in motion and overseeing it to the completion of his plan. The reason science doesn't include God in their theories is because science can only accept what can be observed and recreated in a controlled environment. Since God exists in a reality beyond the reaches of our senses and scientific instruments, he cannot be observed or acknowledged in scientific findings. So the problem is not with God, but with the limitations of science. So keep believing in God. He believes in you. Thank you for joining us.